What are the phases of the project?
So we have the all going all the way back to the environmental alternatives analysis, conceptual engineering. So they lay out the alignment, look at what's the best way to deliver the mode, and so that got completed. Then we went into preliminary engineering, and then we refine it. So we take a line, a schematic line across a corridor. Now we're defining it further in preliminary engineering. Where will the columns be? What will be the height of the guideway as we cross through intersections? How are we going to snake through this interchange? There's further defined development as well as utilities. So we get it to a level where we can get a cost estimate to see where our program will be falling. So there's sufficient information at that level. Once we get to that level, then we will look at executing the work. So whether we went to a design build procurement level, which we could simply take those preliminary engineering drawings and put them out to a design builder, which we have on 3 contracts.
Okay.
Or other contracts where we've elected to complete that through a design bid build, more traditional. So we then look to procure and select a qualified design consultant, and then they would complete the design. Once they're through that phase, and then we would put it out for bid to contractors. They would then bid, and then we'd hire that contractor, and then they would construct. So either through the design build under one entity, a contractor with the designer, they'll design and build it.
So it's design and build.
Correct.
Okay. That's what you refer to as design build, but it's design and build.
Yes.
Okay.
They're tasked to do a design and build. And just in the industry, we just cut it off, the and make it simple.
And then the design bid build, how does that differ? There's a bid in there, so it sounds like it's not necessarily the same people.
It is not. It's a contracting method, and various reasons why we chose the methods. So design, you have more control. The owner has more control to work with the designer. Then you put it out to bid, and then you have a contractor. So there's separate entities, who's designing it, who's constructing it.
Okay.
And if there's any issues in construction, well, the designer would have to get involved throughout the constructions.
Understood. Okay.
Under design build, it's the contractor and the designer joined together.
Joined together, yeah.
We basically give a package that says, okay, here's the preliminary engineering, here's the minimum configuration that you must deliver. It's their task to design it and build it, so they're integrated.
Understood.
And the jury's still out on whether which is more cost effective.
Yeah.
But the main purpose for going design build over design bid build is time, because you just right off the going with the design build, you cut out the bidding period.
Understood.
So usually when you want to deliver rapidly, deliver as quickly as possible, that would be a driver for design.
Give us an example of which one is a design bid build versus a design build.
Sure. So the first section, we have the project 20 miles broken out into 4 sections, 4 phases. The first section is our West Oahu Farrington Highway section. It's 7 miles. It's out at the Eva end, East Kapolei goes to Pearl Ridge, Pearl Highlands, right at the H2, H1 merge area. So that 7-mile section, it was important to deliver to the customer, to the public, a section as quickly as possible. So in that section, we also had a maintenance and storage facility, the 43-acre site, because we can't operate without that facility. So it was, the decision was, let's go with design build for that first section.
So the first section is design build.
And the maintenance and storage facility.
And the maintenance and storage.
So that they can get as completed and done as quickly as possible.
Okay.
So the rest of the sections, we felt we had more time, more sufficient time. So we decided that we were going to plan to go traditional. That way we have more control.
All right.
Well, once we received the bid results on the first section, this West Oahu Farrington section, they came in favorable. So the decision was, okay, let's go ahead and have the section 2, which we call the Kamehameha Highway section, also go design build to secure a design builder to take advantage of the market conditions where we're getting lower bids. So that was the decision to go basically the first 10 miles. Let's deliver that quickly.
It's half the route.
Yes, so the 10 miles with the maintenance and storage facility is our design build section. The other 10 miles, the section 3 and section 4, section 3 being the airport section, and section 4 being our city center section going all the way to Ala Moana Center, those we've kept in design bid build. So we've secured a qualified consultant, and we're proceeding on that path.
Okay.
In addition, we have each of the stations. The stations along the alignment, the 21 stations, they're all grouped together, either in 3 or 4 packages. Those are also going design bid build. And that we also want to control, because when you get into architectural aesthetic features, it's hard to leave that to a contractor who's going to drive reduced costs when you want to control what that look will be.
Okay, organization. Okay, so is everybody that's on the core team employee of the public sector, or are there private personnel?
It's a hybrid. So we have HART employees, public employees. The HART make up the core. In areas of where it's difficult to get the expertise, because there aren't transit projects and transit in every city and every location.
Sure.
So where you have expertise and you don't want to have a learning curve, you don't want to have to do your start the program with no experience.
Sure.
So where we have need for that expertise, we supplement the HART staff with seconded staff through consultants.
Okay.
So we filled those key expertise roles with seconded staff where we could not hire them otherwise.
I see.
In addition, we have a general engineering consultant.
A general engineering consultant for overall?
Correct. Right. So they are under contract to be able to support us in preparing the preliminary engineering drawings, to prepare cost estimates, to analyze claims. So the goal is to not create a large staff that at the end of the project you have to make a decision of what to do with these personnel. So you use the balance of bringing in the expertise and bringing in resources that you know will only be for a determined amount of time.
Okay.
So we have hired a general engineering consultant to support that.
So that's your core team. Okay, now you've got this bevy of contractors. How do they fit in?
Through the execution of the contracts and the requirements that we put forth in the contracts, requirements to coordinate, requirements to submit documents for review and approval, we establish it in the contract.
Okay.
Once we execute the contract, now it's just implementing and being contract compliant. So we have requirements for communication of schedules, of cost, of issues, changes, whatever the condition that is stipulated in the contract, safety, quality, it's all covered, what their requirements are. Certain documents that they have to prepare, like the schedule, has to be reviewed, actually approved by HART. And then other documents, similarly, the project management plan, a quality plan, a safety and security.
Where does this all come in, and how do you work through it to be able to understand where you are in the project?
Sure. Well, our repositories, we have a web-based project management software system.
When I was leaving, it used to be called CMS.
That is CMS, yes,
Okay.
contract management software.
Okay.
And is, if you remember the old Primavera Expedition.
I do.
I remember starting that in DOS, so with the contractor when I worked at, and I would manage material delivery schedules. So it has basically evolved into this Primavera contract management system, since bought out by another firm.
Yeah.
But we've implemented that.
Okay.
And so that is the repository. So we process all correspondence, all changes, requests for information, schedule submittals, design submittals, review. We have it all recorded in there. So reviewers actually put their comments in there, and you have a ball in court. You get an email blast that the ball's in your court. You got to get in there, review it, and approve it before the next cycle. So we have it all housed in there.
Who's who's the webmaster, if you will, of CMS?
Well, HART is the source, and we set forth the overall plan, procedures, implementation, or structure.
Okay.
We have put in the contracts for all of our consultants and contractors a requirement that they have to use CMS for direct communication with us.
Okay.
So they are trained. We have a training program. They get a license, and so there's interface between us. So if they have us a letter, they submit it in CMS.
Yeah.
If there is a request for a change, they submit it in CMS.
Boy, things have come along quite far, and thank goodness with the requirements for documentation together.